Okay, here we are today pulling handles from the pot. And the first thing we need are stubs. And I'm stretching out a big piece of clay here, and this will be the stubs I'm going to use. So I cut them off on the table like this. Up to one side. Now we take the mug. Now I don't need to slip and score as long as I have the right consistency. So these mugs are wet enough that the handles won't crack. And it's experience, it's learning your clay, and there's a sort of window I have where I know that the handles won't crack if I put them directly on without slipping and scoring. And this stub is going on. I'm smoothing it in, making nice curves where it's attached so that it'll become like the branch of a tree. I've usually put on lots of stubs on lots of mugs, and then I go back to the first one. This one, we'll just do two here to demonstrate. Take the stub, I'm going to round off the edge of the stub so that when I press it onto the mug, it doesn't trap any air behind it. Really push it on hard, smooth it around. Again, I'm looking for these curves that will flow from the pot into the handle, and in that way we're getting the branch of a tree effect, so that the handle becomes one piece with the mug, becomes one unit. So that's attached, and then I can go back to the first one, dip it into the water, and I'm going to stretch it out. Now the advantage of pulling from the pot is that you can actually watch carefully the shape from the pot into the handle. You're really getting these curves. I'm looking at the thickness. I want an oval shape that's really comfortable to hold. I don't want any really sharp edges, especially down the sides of the handle where the sharp edges can dig into your fingers. And you have to remember that the pot's going to be at least twice as heavy when it's filled with liquid. So now it has to be done quickly, because otherwise you'll get a sort of shaky handle. Think of it as calligraphy. You can't labor calligraphy. You really have to have a flow to it. And it's the same with the handle. And the faster you can put the handle on, within reason, the nicer the handle will look. Now any adjustments to the shape of the handle you do in a fluid movement like that, without covering it in lots of fingerprints. And here I can show you the details of the way the handle is attached. And I'll just do one more quickly. So dip the stub into the water, stretch it out, watching the shape flow from the handle, from the pot into the handle. Nice oval cross section, attaching it, making sure it's on straight, press in, cut off what you don't need. Dry my hand a little bit, my fingers. I don't want them wet to actually smooth the clay like this, otherwise they slide over the surface rather than moving the clay. And finally, check the shape, make sure the spring of the handle is what you want. Any touching up in movements, you don't cover it in fingerprints, make sure that the mug is round, and there we have it. Now, when the handle is completely dry, and you have a dried piece, these are smaller ones, bone dry, you should be able to hold the handle without fear of it breaking. And if you're frightened to pick it up, it usually means that the handle is too small. So for me, that's a guide on my handles. I can actually pick it up when they're bone dry without the fear of them breaking, and then I have a sort of basic rule that they're strong enough. So there we have it, pulling handles.